In the first book of the Bible, Genesis, God was frequently surprised and disappointed by the actions of the humans he created. In Genesis 1, Adam and Eve were evicted from Eden, and humans were forever cursed with sin. In Genesis 6, God considered all of mankind to be so irredeemable that he drowned them all with a massive flood. By the time we get to Genesis 18, these pockets of corruption once again started springing up everywhere, and nowhere more so than in a group of 5 towns called Zoar. 2 of these cities are the ones we will focus on, Sodom and Gomorrah. These cities were evidently very sinful, so much that modern language now uses the legal term sodomy to describe what Christians consider deviant sexual behavior. Though the Bible doesn't say, it's generally considered that the cities are full of evil, violent people, rapists, and lots of wicked pagan religious people. God decides that he will send 2 angels down to investigate, and if they can find 50 good men in the city, he will spare it. So let's begin our journey through the Bible with a story that I guarantee is never taught in Sunday school.
The Holy Bible, the King James Version, the first book of Moses called Genesis, chapter 19. And there came 2 angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot seeing them rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot, and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold now, I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. But the men put forth their hand, and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides, son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. Escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain. Escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed.
Thus far the angels have only found 1 man they consider good, and he just offered up his daughters for gang rape to a mob. I would argue that they only looked in 1 city and then only for a few hours. But hey. And did you notice that he lied to the mob and said his girls were virgins? He was sweetening the pot, trying to make these girls more appealing to the rapist. But then a few verses later, who does he try to convince to flee the city? His daughters' husbands. Now I wonder if they knew what their father-in-law just tried to do with their wives. And where could 50 good individuals be found? How about children? Toddlers? Infants? Surely there were schools in Sodom or a playground where the little ones would play. But sadly, only Lot and his family make it out.
Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of those cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountain, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night. And the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ammi. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day.
There are 2 ways you can look at this story. It's historical fact, or not historical, but it serves some other purpose. Well, let me go in reverse order. I don't think there's any question that this story is an outdated morality tale about not straying from the path of living a good life and treating strangers with respect and courtesy. But at its heart, it's pure political propaganda. The 2 children who were conceived from a drunk dad humping his daughters in a cave, well, they turned out to be the founders of the Moabites and the Ammonites, 2 arch enemies of the Israelites throughout the Old Testament. If you want to consider this history, then Lot needs to be called out for trying to toss his daughters out into a mob of rapists. That is evil and immoral by any standard. If you are a father, you die fighting to protect your daughters. You don't push them outside and close the door behind them. Anyone calling this man righteous or just has serious, serious issues with recognizing morality. Ladies and gentlemen, I close by giving you a quote from the New Testament.
Lot, a righteous man, was distressed by the filthy lives of lawless men. For that righteous man living among them day after day was tormented in his righteous soul by the lawless deeds he saw and heard.
So into which camp do you fall? Do you agree with the Bible and think Lot is a just man who should be held out as an example of righteousness? Or do you agree with me and think Lot is a scumbag who would be prosecuted if he lived today? If you're religious and you're feeling a bit uneasy right now and God's justice seems a little bit off kilter, then you have to hang around for the next episode to see what he does to people who pick up sticks on the wrong day.